Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi, y'all, on Saturday evening. So, unexpectedly, I've got to go requalify, do a refresher course and requalify for work with my firearm. Heard about it yesterday. It's unusual to have Sunday classes, but there was some kind of a snafu, and there's some people that absolutely have to get it done before they expire. And while they're going, it was coming up time for me to get mine, so they dumped me in that class. No big deal. I'm going to get paid to go shoot. I have to put up with an instructor and do a little bit of classroom stuff, but then I get to go to the range and put 50 rounds down range, and I'm going to get paid for that, and they pay for the bullets. It's an issued weapon, all the gear, and I'll have to be in full uniform with my body armor and everything, but still, they're paying for that. So, can't argue with someone paying for you to go shoot. So anyway, I posted over on the shaving cadre that, and I think maybe in the first video I mentioned him. Did I just say the shave? I had this shaving cadre. But anyway, Fuzzy, sometimes facts don't confuse me. But anyway, I posted over there. I think I'm going to do a week of lather catches. If you remember the last video, we used, where'd that thing go? Here we go. Last video, we used a 1910 Jim Jr., one of my favorite, one of the first ones I had. So tonight, we're going to do something really similar. This is an early 1900, and I don't remember the date. I'm thinking 07-ish, something like that, but I don't remember the date, and I didn't take time to go look it up. I'm sorry, but this is the Camp Brothers Star, and it's a little more ornate on the back. It's got Camp Brothers on the back, and then under the blade it says Star. One of the neat things about this is the head actually pivots open for easy cleaning. I've always thought that was really, really neat, and you can kind of see under there where the star is there. I've always thought that was kind of neat. This is one of the razors you could use with a wedge blade. It was right along the transition, so it's got the spring-loaded little side clips there, so you can use a regular blade in it without an adapter, but you could also use a wedge blade. If one of these days when I find somebody that can hone some wedge blades for me, I've got some. I've got a Rolls with a couple of really nice blades that need to be edged. Matter of fact, my Rolls is just sitting right there, and then I can do some wedge blade shaves, which are fun. I've done them before. It's a lot of fun using those old things. So anyway, I think we're going to do a week or so of these lather catchers. I've got several different. Matter of fact, I got one, two. Thought I had a third one under here. Three. I think I got four just in the general area right here. That's without going and digging through the boxes for other. I got a really nice looking Superior that I'll probably use next if I can find it. I know it's around. But anyway, that's where we're going. So, yep, this afternoon I came in from work this morning and my sidekick is over. And I got a nap and had to go to Walmart for a few things. I needed some rim oil. I've used rim oil for years, so I went and got some rim oil so I could clean my pistols. And then I know good and well there's going to be somebody at the range tomorrow that hadn't cleaned their pistol, so I got a nice big can of rim oil so I can clean some weapons for people if they need it. And while I was there, my air pump went out. My little air pump that we plug into a cigarette lighter in the truck went out, and I've got a tire that's got a slow leak I haven't got fixed yet. So they wanted like almost $50 for a little compressor. And I got to looking around, and for $60, they had a little 1,000-watt boost-off box. And I've been wanting one of those. My old, what I call the hoopty, y'all might remember, I got an 87. The title says 88. That's when my grandmother got it. But the door says 87. Either way, it's a Toyota Corolla hatchback, the FX. And it, for some reason, has a starting problem. And even though the battery's all charged up, sometimes you need to put a booster box on it. It won't do anything. And you put a booster cables on it, put a booster box on it, it starts right up. Even though the battery's charged, brand new alternator, brand new battery. I did all that battle, if you remember. But anyway, $60. So for an extra $20 or an extra really $10, I've got a battery, boost off box that's got the built-in air compressor. So kill two stones with one bird. But let me show you something real quick, then we'll get into the shave. So this came along with it. It's a USB rechargeable work light. And it's got the little tripod stand to put it on. But check this out. You can either turn on one side of it, or if you need more light, you turn on both sides of it. And then if you broke down on the side of the road, you can turn the red light on. Y'all might not know about Fuzzy as I like lights. I don't see as well in low light. I never have. People used to make fun of that. We would be out duck hunting early in the morning just as it was getting to be shooting hours. And, you know, ducks would start coming in. And the old boy used to hunt with Alan Joyner. I've told stories about him before. Old cranky guy. And he did a lot for me. Started hunting, friends with my dad. And I did a fair amount of duck hunting with him. Used to catfish for blue cats out in the Mississippi River with him and my brother. Some extremely, extremely good times. But anyway, we would be sitting up there and he called me boss. I don't know if y'all remember the show Dukes of Hazzard with Boss Hogg, little fat buddy. Roscoe's little fat buddy. Anyway, so he called me boss, this little fat buddy. And he said, shoot them ducks, boss. Shoot them ducks. And I'd be getting there going, what ducks? I ain't seen no ducks. If they get up above the tree line and get outlined by the, you know, silhouetted by the sun coming up, I might see them then. But when they were down below the tree lines coming into the decoy, they were pretty darn safe. But anyway, so I like lights. I've got different kind of lights. So when I saw that, I said, yeah, that's just a really, really nice bonus. I may be going a little heavy on this shave stick. This is Spanish, LaToja. Am I pronouncing that right? Or LaToja, I think. LaToja, maybe. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. People like doing that. But anyway, I haven't used it in a while. And I love shave sticks. I don't know what y'all think about shave sticks. I love shave sticks. I think they're a really excellent thing. I've heard people talk about, well, I don't like rubbing soap on my face. Well, what do you think you're doing with a brush? Come on. Get with it, folks. Get with it. Speaking of brushes tonight. So anyway, I may be going a little bit heavy, but that's you know, they don't arrest you for that. So anyway, brush tonight. So first thing is the knot. This is a knot that I put in. This is a Maggard's, and it's the mixed Badger and Boar. I'm a big Boar fan, but this is not a bad brush. Is it really a big deal to have a whole lot bigger brush? In my book, no. I'm just fine with smaller size knots. I think they do just as good a job. This is a really nice knot, the mixed. But again, does it do a particularly better job than just a straight up Boar? Probably not, but it is nice. The big thing about this brush is that handle. Check that out. That is a hand-turned handle from my Canadian buddy, Nine. Eh? Hope things are going good up in Canada. And I say like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not Canadian, but it's okay. But anyway, that's a hand-turned handle that I put a Maggard's knot in. And it's one of my favorites. And this thing is just a gargantuan brush, as you can see as you start to use it. Now, I lather shave sticks just like I lather everything else. I start out with a damp brush to build a paste, and then just add water by touching the tips of the brush into the water in the sink. I shave over a bowl of water. And you just dip the tips in, and you add a little water at a time, and all of a sudden you realize you've got the perfect mix. But anyway, I don't think I showed it, but it's okay. It's just a couple of days of growth. I cheated and didn't shave before I went to work last night, so I'd have a little bit extra. I don't know. I shave every day sometimes, and I shave just fine, but it's always a better feeling shave when you've got an extra day or so of growth on. 2 or 3 days of growth. When you get through shaving it, it looks a lot better. You feel better, and everything's good. So I've had people talk about, oh, your lather's too dry. You need to put more water. You need a bit of, oh, we're not making buttercream here. We're shaving it. So anyway, lather. We're not going to worry about getting buttercream. That's pretty good right there. I like the way that feels. Nice light scented soap. I like the LaToja. It's always been good to me. Spanish stuff. Alrighty, so here we go. So again, it's a ladder catcher, Kampfe Bro Star, early 1900s. They are no harder to use. It's got a shorter handle on it, and people invariably want to do the argument, you know, less filling tastes great. Whether they like the long handles, short handles, the balance here, the balance there, the heavy, I don't think any of that really matters. It's your technique that matters. I could see, and I've said this before, I can see if you have really big hands to where you might want a longer handle. That's one of the few reasons I could see. I don't know if you can hear this razor, but it talks a little bit. That's one of the few reasons I could see that you might really enjoy a longer handle than a shorter handle would be. So one of the original handles for the this is a reproduction. J.R. made that handle, by the way. Jim Jr. bar with a short wooden handle. I do have some of the originals too. But anyway, that one was made by J.R. So, you know, longer, short. Let's see if we can hear this razor. I don't know if the camera microphone or pickup phone microphone will pick up on that, but it's got some auditory feedback. But anyway, so I think the technique is more important than the razor sometimes. A lot of times, you know, razor to razor, blade to blade. That's just like in my book, there's no such thing as a razor that's too aggressive. Your technique can iron all that out. That's why I say a blade is a blade. I realize that there are some little differences between some of the blades. They're all razor blades. You know, basically, they're all the same, and as long as they're sharp, you can get a shave out of them as long as you can keep constant pressure and angle. Nothing will make a dull blade shave. I'm not saying that you can shave, but a sharp blade that is not damaged, blade's a blade. It's going to shave. Do some of them last longer than others? Do some of them, or some of them sharper? Absolutely. Absolutely. Feather blades are over sharp. They're harsh, in my opinion. They don't last as long because they're over sharp. But they still will work. All right, do a little across the grain stuff. We don't do against the grain here. But we definitely do across the grain. I will end up putting my contacts in before I go to the range. I see a lot better with contacts. Fixing to have to order me some more. But for right now, I've had my contacts out so they can be clean and ready to go. So I can shoot a good score. I never try to shoot a perfect or anything. I don't want to be that guy. Going down the line, if you actually had to use your skills, I don't want someone to come back and say, well, you know, you did this good at the range. Why couldn't you do this? And why couldn't you do that? And it's like, well, we just won't worry about that. What is scraping against me on this thing? It's not the edge of the blade because they're behind the blade. Behind the blade stops. Always be sure when you're loading razors like this goes in and then it's got the little clip at the back that slides up against it. Always be sure that before you start, that you put your glasses on and make sure the blades are behind the stops. Don't ask me why I say that. I'll lie to you. But anyway, there we go. Good stuff. Something. Get this all nice and cleaned up. We'll get our last pass on. I used to make fun of folks when they would use a shavette style. They would talk about muting the edge of the blades, which I thought was kind of silly. Still do. I don't see the point muting the edge of a blade, corners like that. But then I would talk about being sure the blade was behind the blade stops, and invariably somebody was going to come up and say, well, you said the corners didn't matter. Yeah, it's apples and oranges. People are going to try to sometimes. They just, if you haven't noticed, people will come up with anything sometimes to try to justify their point of view, even if it makes no sense. It's apples and oranges. It's nothing that really can be compared. Even though they use the same blade, it's two different styles of equipment. And I was making fun of the folks that always had to mute the blade ends, because I figure that means that they can't use the equipment as well. That was always my point. You're going to have a piece of equipment, learn to use it. You know, you got a tractor, learn to drive a tractor. You know, whatever. I used to spend some time in the summer and on up into the fall and winter driving cotton pickers. And I worked at it, and I think I got to where I was okay at it. Never was the best just tractor driver when it comes to, like, you know, pulling a disc. Never really did get those straight rows on stuff, especially working at night. They'd go back in the morning after I worked at night, and they'd go back and run around the field real quick and dress it up before everybody saw what it looked like. But, because I never was that good at it. All right, well, there's a shave with the early 1900s Kampfe Brothers star. I have more than one Kampfe Brothers here, and I like them. I use them. Lather catchers are a really good thing. Over at Toast, we had the clan of catchers, where this will also be posted. But there we go. Still, as you can see, still got the sore healing up in my mustache, but it's going to heal up now. I don't think it's a skin cancer anymore. For a little while, I was pretty worried about that. But I don't believe it is anymore. I think I got everything. It was infected, I think. I think I got everything dug out of it. It should be healing up, but it still got that little mark until it does. All right. Well, check this here out. That is a really, really, really high-class shave right there. There ain't nothing in the world wrong with that. An older piece of equipment. Now, it is a new blade. Even though it's an older razor, it does have a new blade in it. And I use carbon steel blades. These are treats. I can still buy them local, which I'm real happy with. So you need to dry them off, rinse them and dry them off after each shave. And don't slice your fingers up. All you got to do is hold them by the spine. And then you do a little sideways over here and a little sideways over here, and they're dry, and you can keep them for the next shave. I think that's a really, really neat deal. All right, we're going to finish up tonight. Coachman Lustre, which is the exact same thing in my book as Pinard Clubman. I can't tell any difference in it. If you've got a better nose than me, you know, you're always going to have somebody that comes along with well, you know, I can smell just a little bit of difference. And I'm sitting there going, no, you can't. You just run in your mouth. But you always got that person around that everything is a little bit different for them. And they can always do a little bit more than you do. And they always got a little bit better story than you. And but to me, Coachman and Clubman, I think they're the same thing, personally. Just in a different, matter of fact, the bottle looks the same. It's just a different label on it. But it's good stuff. I've got a couple of different Lustres. I've got a couple of their spices. I got a blue spice and I got Lustre spice, and I think they're really good. So is that coffee, by the way. But anyway, so that's today's shave. We got the hand turn brush from 9. Thank you, sir. Hope things are good up there. Hey? And up in Canada, one of the few Canadians I actually get along with. But anyway, we'll get it cleaned up too. And I love people hollering. This is something I mention every once in a while. The people that holler, you know, don't swirl your brush around when you're drying it. Don't swirl your brush. You know, oh yeah, well, I swirled my brush. I paid for it. I never had it hurt anything that I have ever seen. But anyway, look how pretty this knot is. That's a beautiful knot. And like I said, is it particularly better than just a bore? Does it do a particularly better job? I don't know. Personally, I don't think so, but maybe I'm just not good enough at it. But it is neat. It's huge. Is there a whole lot of advantage to a really big brush over a regular, what we would call a regular, or what I would call a regular size brush? I don't think so. Is it an issue having a bigger brush? No, they work just fine. You know, I've got this silver tip from the Golden Nib. First brush I ever reknotted for myself. It's a 200 ever ready. I mentioned this in the last video, but there it is. That's a good size knot. I've got some of the, I don't have one right up front here, but I've got some of the Burma shave brushes that are the bore, that are the smaller diameter. Works just fine. You'll get over everything. I mean, it's not like you're painting the side of a building or anything like that. But anyway, shave sticks. I like them. Hope you like them too. This is actually a nice one. And like I said, this one is Spanish. LaToja. So there we go. That's tonight's shave. Wish me luck for tomorrow at the range. Although generally I do okay. Like I said, I don't shoot a possible, but mostly I do that on purpose. Plus, I buy the whole target. I want to use the whole target. I don't want to just shoot the center out of the thing. That wastes paper, right? Huh? All right. Well, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Yes, Miss Linda, I see you down there. Yes, I see you. How you doing? So anyway, y'all have a good one. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, it's going to be a week of ladder catchers around the den here. Because that's what Fuzzy's in the mood for. And then we'll see what happens after that. Maybe it'll be time for an open blade shave. We'll try it out. And let's remember, just because it's a single blade does not make it a single edge safety razor. So when we say SE and injector, we're not talking about straight razors or the things of that nature. Even though they are single edge, I get it. But anyway, I may do an open blade shave here before too long too, just to prove I still can. Y'all have a good one. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy shaves to you.